Welcome to Learn English with Podcast. Today, our amazing hosts, Luca and Maria, are here to take you through another exciting episode. Luca, Maria, over to you.
Ever find yourself feeling, perfectly fine during the day, but then as soon as the sun sets, this wave of sadness or anxiety just washes over you? You're definitely not alone in that, and that's actually what we're diving into today.
It's such a common thing people experience.
Totally. We're taking a close look at why nighttime seems to amplify those feelings. Depression, sadness, anxiety, all of it.
Yeah.
This whole exploration comes from looking into a collection of insights on the subject. And our goal really is for you listening to understand the common reasons behind this nighttime mood shift. And maybe get some practical ways to handle these feelings.
Navigate them a bit better. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, just before we really jump in, if you appreciate deep dives like this one and, want more insights coming your way, please take just a second to like this, maybe share it with someone who you think might find it helpful, and definitely subscribe to the channel.
It really does help us out.
It does. Honestly, it takes a lot of effort to put these together for you guys, so that support means a lot.
Absolutely. So this whole evening mood shift,
Right.
It's fascinating when you start unpacking the different factors involved.
Okay, let's unpack them then. What's the first big thing that jumps out from what we've looked at? It seems like the quietness, the stillness of night is a huge factor.
Oh, definitely. That's a really crucial piece. When all the daytime hustle and bustle, the noise just fades away, it kind of creates this space, right?
Yeah, like an opening.
Exactly, an opening. And into that space, our, let's say, underlying feelings can surface much more easily. There's just less external stuff competing for our attention.
That makes sense.
Think of it like echoes in a big room. During the day, the room's full of activity, muffling those echoes.
Right.
But at night, silence. And suddenly even the quietest emotional whispers feel, loud.
Loud is a good word for it. It's almost like during the day we're so busy, doing stuff, talking to people, that we don't have the bandwidth to fully process our emotions in the moment.
Precisely. Emotional processing often gets kind of put on the back burner. We might, consciously or not, just set feelings aside because we have to focus on work or family or whatever needs our attention right then.
Right, you gotta function.
You gotta function. Then, when things quiet down at night, that backlog of unprocessed emotion starts to bubble up. It's like having a bunch of background apps running on your phone all day.
Okay.
They're using up energy, but you're not actively looking at them.
Yeah.
Then at night, you close the main apps you were using, and suddenly those background ones pop up demanding attention.
I get that. It's like all the little emotional bumps and bruises from the day suddenly start aching when you finally stop moving.
That's a great analogy, yeah.
And speaking of stopping, the whole role of distractions, or really the lack of them at night, seems super important too.
The contrast is key.
Yeah.
Think about it during the day. You're juggling tasks, conversations, maybe just taking in the sounds and sights of the world.
Yeah, just sensory input.
All of that acts as a kind of natural distraction. It keeps your mind occupied, externally focused.
Totally. I mean, even just mindlessly scrolling through emails can keep your brain busy on the surface.
Exactly. But at night, when those activities stop, it's just you and your thoughts.
Uh-oh.
And that's when those thoughts become way more prominent. And, like the insights suggest, much harder to just ignore. There's no buffer.
No buffer, yeah. Your mind's left to its own devices, and for a lot of people, that leads straight into overthinking.
The classic nighttime spiral.
Yes. I think we all know that one. What kinds of thoughts tend to show up most often in that quiet space?
Well, the patterns that seem common are things like replaying stuff you said or did, feeling regretful.
Oh, yeah.
Or getting really anxious about the future, worrying about what might happen, and also just like revisiting awkward moments or negative experiences.
It's like your brain decides 2 a.m. is the perfect time for its greatest hits of embarrassing moments.
Pretty much. A personal blooper reel. Exactly.
It's the worst, isn't it? And the quiet just seems to make those negative thoughts feel so much bigger, so much more real.
That's it, exactly. Without the usual background noise, there's nothing to dilute them. They just echo in the silence.
Gain momentum.
And spiral. Leading to anxiety or guilt or just this general heavy feeling,
Definitely. Another big feeling that seems to get amplified at night is loneliness. Why does being alone feel so much more intense after dark?
There are a few layers to that, I think. For one, evenings are often culturally framed as time for connection, right? families together, friends out socializing.
Yeah, the traditional end of the workday social time.
Right. So if you're not participating in that, for whatever reason, the contrast can feel really sharp. You feel the absence more acutely.
And I bet seeing glimpses of other people's social lives, like on Instagram or whatever at night, probably makes that feeling way worse.
Oh, absolutely. That whole FOMO thing, the fear of missing out, it gets dialed way up when you're sitting alone, scrolling through curated highlights of everyone else seemingly having a fantastic evening.
Yeah, those perfect pictures.
It creates this skewed view, making you feel like you're the only one not having fun or connecting. And just inherently, nighttime can feel more isolating, especially if you live alone or maybe you're far from family and friends.
Which leads us right into social media. Such a double-edged sword, isn't it? Especially at night.
Totally. On one hand, yeah, maybe it offers a sense of connection.
But on the other hand,
It so easily leads into that comparison trap we just mentioned. You're seeing the highlight reels, not the reality. And that can just tank your mood if you're already feeling a bit low.
makes your own reality feel inadequate.
Exactly. And then there's the other nighttime habit, doom scrolling.
Oh, God, yes. Just endlessly absorbing negative news or upsetting stuff right before you hook to sleep. That sounds like a recipe for misery.
It really is. Pumping your brain full of stressful information right before bed. It's going to worsen your emotional state and make it way harder to actually wind down and relax.
And didn't we also see something about the actual, biological impact of screens?
Yes, the blue light. That's another layer.
Okay, how does blue light connect to mood specifically at night?
So the blue light that our phones, tablets, computers emit, it basically tells your brain it's still daytime.
Yeah.
It suppresses the production of melatonin,
Melatonin, the sleep hormone.
the main sleep hormone, yeah. So when your melatonin is suppressed, it's not just harder to fall asleep. That disruption can also mess with your overall mood and emotional stability. It's all linked.
Wow. So it's this perfect storm almost. Emotional triggers, no distractions, comparison traps, and biological factors all hitting at night.
It really can be.
Speaking of biology, the insights also mention a natural drop in serotonin levels in the evening. Can you explain that?
Sure. Serotonin is one of the key neurotransmitters linked to feelings of well-being, mood regulation.
The feel-good chemical, people sometimes call it.
Kind of, yeah. And its production isn't constant. There's a natural daily rhythm levels tend to be higher during the day with sunlight, and then they naturally decline as evening sets in. So this biological dip can actually make us a bit more vulnerable to feeling down as night approaches. It's like a natural shift in brain chemistry, making things feel a little harder.
And our internal clock, the circadian rhythm, plays a role too.
Absolutely. Our circadian rhythm governs way more than just sleep and wakefulness. It influences hormone release, energy levels, and definitely mood.
So if that rhythm is off,
If it's disrupted maybe from an inconsistent sleep schedule, staying up super late, shift work, it can throw your emotional balance off kilter, making you more susceptible to those nighttime lows. It affects more than just melatonin.
it's also interconnected. And I mean, it seems obvious, but if you're just plain tired and not getting enough sleep, that must make everything feel 10 times worse.
Oh, massively. Sleep deprivation tanks our emotional resilience. When your brain is tired, it's way more reactive.
More sensitive.
More sensitive, exactly. Less able to cope with stress or regulate negative emotions. You just don't have the same capacity to handle difficult feelings when you're running on empty.
Makes sense.
And think about it, our physical energy naturally dips at night too. So it's like our emotional energy, our coping reserves get depleted right alongside our physical ones.
Right, you have less fight in you, emotionally speaking.
Pretty much.
Now, something else that really stood out was this idea that nighttime can trigger past experiences or associations. How does that work?
Yeah, that's interesting. For some people, the quiet, the dark,
Yeah.
it can unintentionally bring back memories, old stuff, past negative experiences, maybe trauma, heartbreak.
Even if nothing specific happened that day to remind them.
Right. It's like the stillness itself creates a space where those buried feelings can resurface. The environment, the quiet, the dark, might have become unconsciously associated with difficult times in the past.
Wow. Like the atmosphere itself holds echoes.
That's a good way to put it. Echoes of past emotional states.
Another thing mentioned was this pressure some people feel, this urge to sort everything out, solve all their problems before going to sleep. I've definitely done that.
Oh, it's super common. This feeling like you need to tie up all the loose ends, make plans, fix things in your head before you can allow yourself to rest.
Yeah, the clear mind myth.
Exactly. The intention is good, wanting to sleep peacefully. But the pressure often backfires, doesn't it?
How so? What does it do?
Well, instead of calming down, you end up revving your brain up. You get caught in mental overload trying to figure everything out. It leads to frustration, more anxiety, makes it harder to fall asleep.
Which then makes you feel worse.
Right. It becomes this cycle. The very peace you're chasing gets further away because you're trying too hard to force it right before bed.
Definitely a vicious cycle. And then on top of all that, you've got the rise of negative self-talk potentially kicking in at night.
Yes. Without the daytime buzz and, frankly, external validation or reality checks, that inner critic can get really loud.
Louder than during the day.
Much louder. Those thoughts like, I'm not good enough, or I really messed that up, or I should have, they can just take over in the quiet.
It's like all those little nagging doubts we manage to ignore or push down during the day suddenly get handed a megaphone when it's just us in the dark.
That's a perfect image for it. And being tired or already feeling a bit down, that just fuels those negative self-perceptions even more.
Your defenses are down.
Exactly. Defenses are lower, you're more vulnerable. And if you're feeling isolated, there's no one there to offer a different perspective or challenge that critical inner voice.
Okay, so it's clear that nighttime sadness and anxiety are, well, complicated. It's this mix of emotional, environmental, biological, psychological stuff all swirling together.
It really is a complex interplay.
The encouraging part is that the insights we look through also offer some really practical things people can actually do to manage these nighttime lows. Where's a good place to start?
A really solid starting point is establishing a relaxing nighttime routine, something consistent.
Signaling to your brain it's time to wind down.
Exactly. It helps create that transition. Things like, some light reading, a physical book, maybe meditation, deep breathing exercises, listening to calm music, maybe some gentle stretching.
Things that feel calming to you.
Right. Finding what works for you personally. A warm, non-caffeinated drink, like you mentioned earlier, can be great too.
What about those racing thoughts, though? The ones that keep people staring at the ceiling?
Journaling can be incredibly helpful for that. Specifically, writing down worries before getting into bed.
Getting them out of your head.
There's this technique called brain dumping. You just literally write down everything swirling in your mind, no judgment. Just get it on paper. It can free up so much mental space.
Like emptying the cache.
Kinda. And you can also use journaling more proactively, like writing down things you're grateful for, or affirmations, maybe specific prompts like, what's one small thing that went well today? Or what am I thankful for right now? It helps redirect those thoughts.
Redirecting, yeah. And we touched on it, but reducing screen time before bed seems like a non-negotiable, almost.
It really should be, if possible. Aiming for, say, an hour screen-free before you plan to sleep gives your melatonin a chance to rise naturally.
Use those night mode filters if you have to be on screen.
Yeah, use night mode. Dim the brightness. Use blue light filters. Every little bit helps. But even better is replacing that screen time with something offline and relaxing, like a puzzle or listening to an audiobook or calming sounds.
Okay. What about tackling that intense loneliness that can hit at night? Any strategies there?
Making an effort to connect earlier in the evening can make a big difference. Even just a quick call or text exchange with a friend or family member.
Preempting the isolation later on.
Sort of, yeah. Sharing a bit about your day, hearing about theirs. It fosters connection.
Yeah.
If you live with someone, maybe intentionally setting aside time for a proper chat or doing something together rather than just coexisting in the same space.
Makes sense. I really like the idea of practicing gratitude before bed. Seems simple, but potentially powerful.
It really is. Just taking a moment, mentally list, or actually write down, say, 3 things you're grateful for, however small. It genuinely helps train your brain to focus more on the positive. Studies show it can improve mood and even sleep over time.
Shifting the focus. And I think it's crucial to remember self-compassion in all this. Being kind to yourself when you feel bad.
Oh, absolutely critical. Don't beat yourself up for feeling down. Try talking to yourself like you'd talk to a good friend who is struggling.
Yeah, you wouldn't tell a friend to just snap out of it.
Exactly. Remind yourself it's okay to have hard nights. These feelings aren't permanent. Be gentle.
And when do these nighttime lows cross the line into something where maybe professional help is needed? What are the signs?
That's really important to recognize. If the sadness feels persistent, really intense, or it's significantly interfering with your daily life, your work, relationships, ability to function.
So it's spilling into the daytime too.
Right? Or things like ongoing severe insomnia, feeling really fatigued all the time, withdrawing socially, losing interest in things you used to enjoy. those are definitely signs to seek support.
And any thoughts of hopelessness or self-harm are immediate red flags.
Absolutely. If that's happening, reaching out to a therapist, counselor, or doctor is really important. They have the tools and expertise to help navigate this. It's a sign of strength to ask for that help.
Totally agree. So, last piece maybe. What's a good overall mindset to aim for when those difficult nighttime feelings start bubbling up?
Try shifting the focus from needing to solve everything or achieve perfect sleep towards simply allowing yourself to rest and wind down.
Less pressure.
Less pressure. Give yourself permission to just pause. Okay, done enough today. Tomorrow's a new day. And mindfulness or grounding techniques can be super helpful in the moment too.
Bringing you back to the present.
Exactly. Like that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. Notice 5 things you see, 4 you can touch, 3 you hear, 2 you smell, 1 you taste, or 1 thing you're grateful for. It anchors you when your mind is racing.
That's a great practical tool. So, wrapping up, it seems clear that feeling more down or anxious at night is, well, a really common human experience. Lots of different factors feed into it.
Very common. You're definitely not alone if this resonates.
Right. And the key takeaway is that you aren't alone in it, and there are proactive things you can try, steps you can take to start shifting that pattern.
Small steps can make a difference over time.
Definitely. So here's a final thought to leave you with. If the quiet of night tends to amplify what's already there inside you, what small positive seeds could you maybe consciously plant during your day? Things that might just get a chance to blossom in that nighttime stillness.
That's a nice way to frame it.
Something to reflect on. We really encourage you to explore these ideas further and see what resonates for your own experience.
Every night, around 2 a.m., Sarah found herself lying wide awake in bed, staring at the ceiling. The room was dark and silent, but her mind was louder than ever. During the day, she managed to distract herself with work, conversations, and a long to-do list. But at night, when everything slowed down, her emotions caught up with her. A wave of sadness would creep in, quiet but powerful. And the worst part, she didn't even know why she was sad. Her phone became her only companion. She scrolled through endless posts, smiling faces, perfect vacations, happy couples. With every swipe, her chest grew heavier. She started comparing her life with others. Why am I still single? Why haven't I achieved more? The feeling of being left behind consumed her. She remembered a friend who hadn't replied to her message. She wondered if she had done something wrong. The silence of the night only made her thoughts louder and her heart lonelier. She tried distracting herself with TV shows, music, even junk food, but nothing worked. Some nights she cried quietly into her pillow, ashamed of her feelings. I shouldn't be this sad, she told herself. I have a job, a roof over my head. Why am I like this? But the truth was, sadness doesn't always need a reason, and overthinking made it worse. One evening, something changed. After another restless night, Sarah decided she needed to break the cycle. She began by doing one small thing, turning off her phone 30 minutes before bed. At first, it felt weird, but slowly, she realized that her anxiety reduced when she wasn't constantly comparing herself online. She also began journaling. Every night, before bed, she would write down everything she was feeling. No filter, no judgment, just her thoughts on paper. It became a safe space to release her emotions. And as the days passed, she noticed her thoughts weren't as heavy as before. Another thing she started was creating a simple night routine. She made a cup of warm herbal tea, lit a candle, and played soft music. It helped signal her brain that it was time to relax. She also learned a calming breathing exercise. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 4. Doing this helped her control her spiraling thoughts. But the most powerful shift came when she told herself, it's okay to feel sad. Instead of fighting her emotions, she began to accept them. She stopped asking, why am I sad? And started asking, what can I do to feel better right now? That simple change in mindset gave her control. Some nights were still tough, but now she had tools. She knew how to handle those quiet, lonely hours. She realized she wasn't alone. Many people felt this way. And slowly, one peaceful night at a time, Sarah started healing. Because sometimes, healing doesn't come from fixing everything. It comes from learning how to be kind to yourself in the middle of the storm.
Thank you for watching. Your journey to better English and unstoppable confidence starts here. Like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep growing together. See you in the next video, champion.